The man inside the cryopod was suddenly jolted awake by an alarm. Before he could even react, his body was wrapped layer by layer by the AI system, locking him into a full EVA suit. The next moment, he was launched straight into space. When John finally came to his senses, he realized the ship had been hit by something. All the other sleep pods like his were being fired out into space as well. Some of them broke apart during ejection. Others, like John's, were automatically redirected toward the nearest planet. But debris was scattered everywhere, and many pods were destroyed long before they could reach any world. By sheer luck, John's pod stayed stable, pierced the planet's atmosphere, and began descending toward the surface. The extreme heat severely damaged the pod, and the AI lost control of the landing. Within seconds, the pod started spinning out of control. Seeing the ground rushing toward him from a few hundred meters up, John could only clench his jaw and brace for impact. Fortunately, the ground below was covered in sand. John survived the crash without any major injuries, but this planet's environment was brutal. Through the pod's viewport, he saw storms whipping up sand and rocks in every direction. John knew surviving here wouldn't be easy, so he quickly sent out a distress signal through the communicator. He waited for a long time and got no response. Just then, the pod began to shake and the system blared a new warning. The violent landing had damaged the structure, and the pod could explode at any moment. Helpless but with no choice, he grabbed the window breaker and smashed open the cryopod's glass hatch. But as John was about to climb out, another jolt hit. The pod shook again, and his suit was torn on the way out. Oxygen started leaking from his abdomen. In seconds, his oxygen level dropped to 42%. John quickly found a repair spray and sealed the tear as best he could. Even though he patched it up, half of his oxygen was already gone. Before he could even catch his breath, the pod's engine started smoking. John scrambled out of the pod. Now the question was, where could he even go? Before he could figure that out, he saw the main ship he had been on also descending onto this planet. It slammed into a nearby body of water, and the massive impact sent shockwaves across the surface. Luckily, he was far enough away not to be killed by the blast. But now he was truly stranded on a desolate planet. As John stood there lost in thought, he noticed a faint light flickering in the distance. He decided to take a chance and headed toward it, but after only a few steps, he stumbled upon another crash site, another pod just like his. Even better, when he climbed inside, he found an oxygen unit, but as soon as he pulled it out, he realized it was completely broken. It seemed his only hope was still that distant blinking light, so he kept walking, following the signal. He never noticed the strange claw marks scratched across the surface of his own pod. Pushing through the stormy desert, he finally reached the source of the light. It turned out to be a distress beacon, set up by one of his teammates. John rushed over, telling them his oxygen was already down to 42%. The teammates looked friendly enough and said they could share oxygen with him later, but they had something to finish first. While he waited, John learned that their crash was no accident at all. The space company had chosen a cheaper route to cut costs, and now they had no idea the ship had gone down. Even if they picked up the signal and sent a rescue mission, it would take at least 18 months for help to reach this planet. The teammate went on, saying the ship wouldn't fall apart so easily. They could salvage its materials to survive here. That gave John a glimmer of hope, and he quickly joined in to help. But in the very next second, a monster suddenly lunged out of nowhere and dragged the teammate away. John didn't even hear a sound. By the time he spun around, the guy was already gone. He assumed the man had run off and didn't want to share oxygen after all, so John decided to head straight toward the ship instead. Maybe there would be oxygen equipment there. Traveling across this massive planet, however, was anything but easy. John soon began to lose hope. That's when a voice suddenly came through his helmet. A woman named Anna, the ship's operations manager. She said she was trapped in her pod, pinned in place by a rock, and needed John's help. When he pulled up the map, he saw that her pod was on the opposite side from the ship. If he went to save Anna, his oxygen would almost certainly run out on the way, and panic was already creeping in. But Anna calmly told him that she had a working oxygen unit with her, enough for both of them to share. With no real choice left, John turned and went to rescue her. He hadn't gone far before darkness suddenly fell across the landscape. He could feel something nearby. For Anna's sake, John forced himself to stay calm. Soon he noticed circular footprints on the ground, leading into a round, tunnel-like hole. He had no idea what made them, so he slowly backed away. Over the comms, Anna told him there were probably native creatures on this planet. The weather began to shift. Soft, glowing fibers drifted down from the sky, falling like snow. As John watched, something flashed across his field of vision. He dropped into a crouch and shut off his suit light, staring into the darkness ahead but seeing nothing. The uncertainty sent his heart racing. He grabbed a stone, ready to defend himself. At that moment, a bright flare streaked across the sky. Following the trail of light, a monster suddenly emerged. John panicked and bolted, but he hadn't gotten far before the creature tackled him to the ground. He scrambled back to his feet, only to see the monster charging straight at him again. John ran for his life, but the beast chased him with relentless speed. In his panic, he slipped off a cliff. Fortunately, there was a long slope below. He tumbled endlessly down it and finally crashed into a snowy drift. He wasn't badly injured, but his suit had been damaged again during the fall. He tried to use the repair spray, only to find it was completely out. His oxygen was now down to 25%. Just as John was sinking into despair, his teammate's voice came through his helmet again. After listening, John realized the man hadn't run away at all. Something even worse had happened. The monster had dragged him to its nest, and he was begging John to come save him. John hesitated, but Anna kept urging him on. And in the end, he made up his mind to go. After running for a while, he reached the creature's lair. Broken cryopods were scattered everywhere. John moved between them as carefully as he could, and finally found his teammate, only to watch the monster kill him on the spot. John instantly killed his suit light and ducked out of sight. When he peeked again, the creature was already heading his way. He had no choice but to dart between the pods, using them as cover. But when he glanced back, another monster appeared from the opposite side. Now he was trapped between the two of them. Just then, the lights on a nearby pod flickered on, drawing the monster's attention. They seemed drawn to the glow. Anna had been analyzing their behavior based on John's reports, and now she remotely activated the lights on all the nearby pods to give him a chance to escape. But she forgot one crucial detail. John's suit still had an active light too. Very soon, another monster started moving directly toward him. John sprinted through the darkness, running blindly until he tripped and crashed into a patch of smoky ground. When he woke up, his first thought was that the creatures had to be close by, but to his surprise, none of them came near. They actually seemed to be afraid of something. For a moment, John and the nearest monster simply stared at each other. Then, slowly, the creature backed away. John had no idea why, but he didn't have time to figure it out. He forced himself to keep moving forward, toward whatever was out there that even the monsters were afraid to face.